Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Greetings from Canada. I'm very glad to have the opportunity to present to you this afternoon, and I hope that I have something useful to offer to your deliberations. Canada is a mid-sized country of about 34 million people. It's very decentralized, with both provinces and the federal government collecting their own revenue and running their own programs. Assistance for working age adults is one of the areas where there is significant overlap between the provinces and the federal government. Consequently, a lot of what we need to address in welfare reform is about harmonization and coordination between the two orders of government, and I suspect that that isn't quite relevant to the situation in New Zealand. Nevertheless, I think that there may be some elements of our experience which could be relevant. There are three main programs of assistance to the working age population: unemployment insurance, which is a contributory social insurance program run by the federal government; the traditional social assistance program, which is what we usually call welfare, which is means tested and has very low asset limitations and so on. And there's also an extensive system of tax credits delivered through the income tax system, most of which are um, delivered by the federal, are provided and paid by the federal government, but some of which are also provided and paid by the provincial governments, although delivered in all cases through the single income tax system by the federal government, with the single exception of Quebec, of the province of Quebec. The I'm going to focus here on the traditional welfare system because I think that that is what you're most interested in, but I will have to touch on the other two areas that I've mentioned for reasons that will become obvious in a moment. Our social assistance system is, as I said, provided by the provinces, and as a result, we have 10 systems in Canada, not one, and they do differ one from the other. I'll speak mainly about the social assistance system in Ontario, which is the province that I'm currently resident in, and which is also Canada's largest province, about 13 million people, and the most industrialized province as well in terms of its manufacturing industry and so on. Uh, Unlike many other jurisdictions in the Western world, our caseload on traditional social assistance among the working age, so-called employable population has not been increasing. It's been decreasing, and it's been decreasing steadily since the mid 1990s. Now, there is an upturn in the current recession, but the upturn, even the upturn, has not been quite as much as people had anticipated. Consequently, we are not really dealing with a situation where we're under significant pressure to deal with increase in caseload. We're really in a situation where we're trying to understand what we've done well and perhaps do it better. The one of the big changes since the 1990s has been the development of the system of tax credits, and these have effectively taken a substantial portion of the social assistance system out of social assistance and instead paid benefits through the income tax system and paid those benefits to everyone with low incomes, regardless of whether they're working or not. So that, for example, almost all child related benefits are now paid by the income tax system to all low income people, whether working or on welfare, so that if a person on welfare goes to work, rather than losing all their child-related benefits, those will continue until their income is approaching $20,000 to $23,000. They'll continue in full, and then they'll be gradually tapered off. In many cases, remaining until $80,000 or $90,000 income, until income becomes significantly above median income. Uh, One of the results of this has been, we believe it's been one of the contributing factors to the decrease in caseload, and there's been at least one good study of the National Bureau of Economic Research that has uh, validated this, but there's also been quite a bit of more casual study as well. So one of the strategies for welfare reform, which is being increasingly articulated and taken up, is to look at increasing the range of benefits which have traditionally been provided only to people who are on social assistance, and instead provide those benefits, either income benefits or in-kind benefits, to everyone with low income, preferentially through the tax system, rather than only to people on social assistance. So those benefits might be shelter related, for example, housing allowances, which are currently embedded in social assistance, or in-kind benefits. For example, whereas Canada has universal hospital insurance and insurance for services provided by physicians, we don't have universal drug benefits, but people on social assistance do. So if we could take those drug benefits and instead provide them to all the low income population, then that would again remove one of the barriers which impedes people who want to get off of social assistance and into the workplace. It would reduce one of those barriers and reduce what we sometimes call the welfare wall. So that's one of the strategies. A second strategy is to, of course, increase the benefits which are available from work. And those are both regulatory strategies, such as minimum wage, and enforcement and improvement of employment standards, as well as uh, the provision of some in-work benefits. The federal government introduced a few years ago a working income tax benefit, which provides some level of uh, tax credit, refundable tax credit, to people who are working for low incomes, which the amount of the working income tax benefit increases gradually to a relatively low level of income, to about $10,000 working income, when it becomes a maximum, and then it gradually phases out. So it's sort of a tent shaped in work benefit. A third issue is the question of not getting people onto, not requiring people to be on social assistance in the first place. Just being on social assistance is a negative experience, and tends to increase the probability of long-term unemployment. Now, the unemployment insurance system should be the first line of resort, but because of the for people who are unemployed, but because of the high number of new immigrants, highly mobile population, non-traditional forms of employment such as contractual employment and self-employment, we're finding that the contributory program isn't working as well as it ought to. So we want to look at alternatives for people who are on assistance that don't actually require the kind of intrusiveness and asset limitation and asset stripping that are on social assistance. So my time is running out. I hope that these few ideas have been helpful, and I wish you success in your deliberations.